This episode brought to you by Nicholson Realty 2.0, Raven Choate Robinson Funeral Home, Chuck Sewer Drain and Plumbing.
Welcome to Garage Talk. As always, I'm Conrad. Let's go.
I'm Ted. It's time to rock and roll. Special guest tonight, Conrad.
Yes, Teddy. We have with us, do we say retired, former?
Officially retired.
Officially retired.
Yeah.
Just from coaching, though.
Just from coaching.
Yes.
Not from life.
Not from life.
Not
just
from life.
Yeah.
The Dean of Discipline, varsity soccer boys coach, Jorge Berry. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing well. First off, I really appreciate the fact that you guys gave me the opportunity to come out and speak with you guys tonight. I guess you're saving the best for last. I'll say that.
Yeah. You're the period in the, like, we've had on all the berries, period.
Okay.
Now that we've had George on.
And actually, we were wanting to do it last winter, but Jordan said that at that time you'd been sick. You were under the weather. She said, wait a little bit. So, but.
Okay.
So, George, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm originally from Indianapolis.
Okay.
I was born and raised there. I started playing soccer just by chance. My family, my parents belonged to what's called the Jewish Community Center on the north side of Indianapolis, and that's where I played Saturday basketball. And there was an English guy named Dr. Alan Katner. So my dad said, "Has your son ever played soccer?" And my dad goes, "What in the hell is soccer?" He didn't have a clue. But the fact that, my parents are always trying to get us into doing different things, he goes, "Well, I'll talk to him." And they weren't really keen on me playing American football. So I said, "Yeah, why don't we go ahead and try this?" And I've been doing it since 12, and I've just turned 63. So, 41 years I've been playing the game.
Wow.
It's a complex game. My daughter played 4 years for Mississinawa, and she told me, I'm playing soccer because you don't know any of the rules, Dad, and you can't yell at me. So she started varsity all 4 years, but I attended every single game, and I loved it.
Right.
People think soccer, I don't know what their concept of it is. It's a collision sport.
Yes, it is. Yeah, there is, people say it's not a non-contact sport, but it is.
Yep.
Yeah, people get hurt. I've seen people get broken collarbones in a high school game. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
how physical soccer is. Blows my mind.
It's, gosh, and I've played so long, and a college teammate of mine, his name is Iker Zubizarreta. He's from Venezuela. And
Say that real fast.
Iker Zubizarreta.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. 3
And
times.
This is his first and only time, he called it the Scorpion Death Tackle. We were playing Purdue in a scrimmage, and a player took him out, and he made a beeline, and that's when you chase a guy down, and you just take off, and you took both his legs and wrapped it around his hips and just took him down.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was the worst tackle I had seen and the guy did not get up. This was supposed to be a friendly, and he took it to heart, and it was like, I'm still talking about it right now. So, it left an impression.
That's cool.
Scorpion death tackle.
Yeah.
That's what he called it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
So for 4 decades, you got 4 decades of coaching experience. You didn't just coach high school, right?
No, I first started. I started off coaching by chance My sister, who's a very talented player. My parents, my dad realized if you're going to get better, and she was physically gifted enough, she could play against boys.
Yeah.
However, to play against boys, well, your brother's going to have to help you. And we're 6 years apart. She's 6 years younger than I am. And I said, you know what? Like I said, I started late. And so I was able to think about the fact that, well, maybe what I've learned, I can share with these kids who've never been privileged to that. And so I attest, or I give all the credit to my sister, Angel Berry White, who is the women's coach at IU at Indianapolis.
Wow.
This is their first year. So yeah,
That's cool.
She took it and ran with it, and her exploits go farther than what mine were. But I blame her and my dad for me to getting into coaching.
Yeah.
213 wins. That's
220 wins at Marion.
not Marion. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's
Don't short him.
but and that's but you look at so at Marion 10 sectionals.
Yeah.
That's pretty high up there. That might be right behind the basketball team.
Well, you know what? It may be, but I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish at Marion. I'm proud of what I brought as far as a soccer culture to Grant County. And you look at when I first started coaching back in 2006. You had Lakeview, you had Oak Hill, and you had Marion. Eastbrook had not started soccer yet, and unfortunately, you just have now Marion, Oak Hill, and Eastbrook, and all three high schools have excelled in soccer over the past 10 years. And to me, that's just as much joy, because I've been able to coach some of those kids at the different schools. I don't care what school you went to.
Right.
If you love the game, I love to coach you. And I think that's why it's been able to catch on and pick up, and why soccer's going in a great direction. Miss Cinewell girls, Eastbrook girls, Oak Hill girls are very good this year, very talented. They have some very talented players. And Marion's starting to get back on track. So, yeah, I think soccer has a very bright future in Grant County.
Well, it became big really quick.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, because originally it was just you and Oak Hill, right? Lakeview.
Yeah.
Blackford's had a program for quite a while, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
And
you know what? You mentioned Blackford, and for the numbers they have as far as their youth development and the fields they had, that was beyond what Marion and Oak Hill had, or what they, maybe not so much now, but back in 2006, it was packed.
Yeah.
A couple times I went out there.
And then, but like now, so Marion, you've got Powell Club that offers soccer,
Powell Club offers soccer.
and you've got some nice fields out there at Ballard Field, right?
Yeah, that's great. And then, even Central Indiana, it used to be Marion Lightning, but it's now Central Indiana Football Club. And they have, I think this spring they'll have roughly 12 to 13 teams.
Wow.
From U7 all the way up through U19.
Oh boy.
So boys and girls. So, it's just growing. It's really growing.
And that's what's hard, because soccer doesn't get the publicity that it deserves.
You know what? Yeah, I would agree there. It probably could, but I think those within the soccer community realize that, and just by the more and more kids that we get out to play, sooner or later it'll get its just due.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will. But you retired from coaching, but you're still the Hype Academy student support specialist. What is that?
Well, great question. So what we do, we get the kids who've been, just behavioral issues. So they come to us, and I teach an SEL class, which is social emotional learning.
Okay.
But I refer to as common sense. Just treating people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And, I try not to talk at the kid, I talk to the kid.
Right.
And it's, that initial impression that could, just, make a big difference. And so that's what we do, just, hey, if we go back, eventually when you do go back, you can't be acting, you can't be cussing the teacher out, you can't be walking out, you can't go up and slap somebody, because there's going to be repercussions from the bad choices. And for you to get here, you've made a lot of bad choices, because all the Marion Community Schools are going to work with the kid, and we are the last alternative. So you've burned all your bridges when you come to us.
Yep.
Our job is to rebuild the bridge, and hopefully, learn some things along the way, so they don't end up coming back to visit us. So that's very rewarding for me.
That's amazing. I think that's very much needed. These kids need mentorship, and sometimes those kids don't feel heard or respected, or a little
100%.
bit lost.
Yeah, because, a lot of times nowadays with society the way it is, you don't know when that kid walks out that school building, where's he walking to.
Right.
Unfortunately, since the majority of Grant County is, pretty impoverished, especially with the Marion Community Schools, so you don't know if they're going home to have that meal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we have kids who, if there's extra lunches, they want to eat that extra lunch. And so, it's a reality check, not only for these kids, but for us who work there. And just to see the growth that these kids make is phenomenal. Now, is there setbacks? Yeah, without question.
Yep.
But they learn. And, people ask me, well, how many games have you lost throughout your career? Man, there's so many games I've lost, but I look at it as life lessons, lessons learned. And I can tell you right now, between coaching youth and high school, I got a hell of a lot more wins than life lessons in life. So
Right. And
that's why for me, it's so enjoying. I've enjoyed it so much because, I use the same format when I coach, with the same format with these kids, and just try to make them, feel like they can be a part of something.
And I love that statement you made. Said you talk to the student, not at the student.
Right.
And plus, like you said, we don't know what these kids are going home to.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty certain that you've hit the nail on the head. Grant County is like number one in child poverty in the state of Indiana. Let's in the 40 plus years you've coached, from year 1 to year 40, how has coaching changed?
Oh my gosh, it's changed so much. I mean, unfortunately, like every other athletic sports, the politics that come involved, as far as, how people are treated, how people, look down upon, what Central Indiana Football Club is doing. They're trying to, minimize the price to play, travel soccer. There's a fee, but, we might pay a third of what the surrounding areas, when I say surrounding, I say Kokomo, Indianapolis, where, there might be a fee for, to play in the league and go to a couple tournaments of maybe $500. Well, if you go north of Fort Wayne, it might be $1,700.
Oh.
If you go south, to Indianapolis area, it might be $2,500. And this is just for a spring season.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So, it's, we try to make it as economically feasible as we can. And we'll do fundraisers to help offset the cost to the parents. And I think we even eat some of the player fees or some of the
Yeah.
fees, will waive fees just to try to promote the game and to give these kids an opportunity to play.
What were some of the outlooks that you had that elevated your program throughout that time?
Okay, so when I first came here, my first coaching gig was at at Lakeview, and it was a bunch of Christian kids. Now, previously I coached public school in Indianapolis at Lawrence Central, and before that, I first started at Park Tudor, so I had the ritzy, glitzy, bougie kids. So then I, head north, and the reason why I moved up here because my wife, Kelly, who's a river rat,
Yeah.
she wanted to go and say that with respect.
Oh, trust me.
She wanted, she wanted to go back to school and get into dentistry. She's a dental hygienist. And so we were able to do that. And like I said, I started coaching at Lakeview. And so, what's your guys' ambition? What do you want to do? Oh, we want to win the conference. And I'm going, conference? What about the state tournament? Oh, we don't have a chance. And, it was, Lakeview was a very small school, as you both know. But we had some relevant athletes.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Bruce brothers.
Yep.
And we had the Singer boys.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the exception of Jacob, who played Singer, who played at Eastbrook, Johnny, and, oh gosh, can't think of the other thing right off the top of the head, but they were great athletes. And plus, we had some other kids who were pretty athletic as well. And I think the time I was there, I think I only lost 2 games at Lakeview in the 3 years that I coached there. And, we were able to accomplish so many things. And when I said state, and then once the kids, it was such a blessing for me because I could see the joy in their face when we would win games, and we weren't just winning, 2-1. We were like 6-7-2. We're just killing teams. And to see how they believed in what we were trying to do. And the coup de grace was when we played Marion, and during the regular season, I call it the Holy Bowl because back then it was more or less, that's when MySpace first came out.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, these kids were going at it. I mean, the kids from Marion were like some of the going at the Singer boys saying, are you going to part the Red Sea? All yada, yada, yada. And, I thought it was all fun, and I didn't get caught up. I said, we'll just go play. And that's all we wanted to do. And that was the largest crowd I'd ever seen down at Ballard Field.
Wow.
Is when we played Marion. And, Marion had a bunch of athletes. They were deep. And we ended up beating them that evening. I think it was like 5-2. And it was like, oh, shoot, you ruffled the feathers.
Yeah.
And we played them in the sectional. And I thought they had figured this out because, like I said, Lakeview wasn't a big school. We might only we had 18 kids, but maybe only 7 athletes. So
Right.
I was plugging holes and everything else, trying to hide my weaknesses. And we got down 3-0. And at halftime, we had talked. And at the time, I don't know if you guys know Kevin Alsop, but he was the AD at Lakeview at the time. He was like, what are you going to do? I go, well, we're going to do what we can, and we'll be okay once we get it. If we can get a goal, and we got a goal, and all of a sudden we tied it up with maybe like 2 minutes left, and then we had a player, his name was Mark Manning, had a free kick, and the way Marion had set up their wall, it was like he had a perfect shot, and he just hit a bomb, and it went back, and then it was game over, and it was like, oh my gosh, they beat him again,
Yeah.
So it was real exciting. That was probably a moment I'll always remember because here you had David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and just like the Bible went, we all know who won that battle.
Somebody got slayed.
Well, it sounded like Marion didn't like that, so they went out and got you.
Well, yeah, it was after we won that game, and I think Lenny is a good friend of mine. Peters, he resigned because he had a son, Gabe, who was a very good player, and he wanted to go watch. I think Gabe had another year left, and he wanted to focus on that. So there's a couple dads, like my phone was blowing up that night. The next day, on Lakeview, they were losing numbers, and I said, what a challenge this will be. And I went after it with open arms.
Sounds like it was meant to be.
Yep.
It was meant to be.
But
Let's talk about some of the challenges your program has faced over the years.
Right.
Because it's all about adversity,
Well, the funny thing is, I'm the type of person, do I like adversity? I don't think anybody does, but I'll embrace it to a point where if I can get the kids motivated to a point to say, hey, why can't you be that team? Or why can't you be that player? I'm all in. And I had to get the Marion kids, when I first started coaching them, to change their ways. And what I mean by that is just how they looked at the game, how they looked at their teammates, because it was more or less I would say, a caste system from the standpoint where, oh, you're going to play because you're a senior or a junior. Hell, I don't care. If you're a freshman and you can play, I'm going to give you that opportunity. And I mean, guys were saying, the younger guys don't. I said, well, there's a new sheriff in town, like Michael Jordan told Bird and
Magic.
Magic.
Yep.
And I was the new sheriff, and we changed the culture. And I think the results speak for themselves, how well we did, and how, a lot more kids got involved with soccer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Coach, you've had plenty of ups and downs. Do you have any particular season that you think back to and you think, man, that was my most memorable season? It might not have been a winning season. Do you have anything?
Yeah. I think, gosh, I want to say, these guys, I'll say 2017, Caleb Oliver, who was my goalkeeping coach this past year, his older brother, Luke, played for me, and Caleb was his senior year, and we were good. We lost to, I think it was Bishop Lures, maybe even Bishop Lures, but it was one of those Catholic schools up in Fort Wayne in the regional, and we just didn't come to play that game. We had opportunities, couldn't finish, but yeah, if there was a team that should have went farther. Now Luke's team did go farther. We lost to Canterbury in the regional final, but I had a total team. When I say total, I mean I could play 14 players and I wouldn't lose a step with my subs. So that was probably my best skilled soccer team I had since all the years at Marion. It's the 2017 team.
Now, you went to semi-state one year, right?
Yeah, we lost, and that's when we.
Okay, that was okay.
Yeah, that's when we got beat by Canterbury.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but just recently, you received the Above and Beyond Award from the Indiana Soccer Coaches Association. That was unexpected,
that's cool.
correct?
Yeah,
That's super cool.
Well, because Greg Davidson, who's the president, called me, the Indiana Soccer Coaches called me, hey, can you come and be a guest at the banquet? And why not? This is, they want to just, maybe say a word or two that, this old fart's been doing this for he's longer than I've been alive or whatever. And I was, Kelly knew, of course, she knows everything. So, but she wouldn't say anything. My sister knew, but she wouldn't say anything. Because she said, well, I can't make it because I got to go watch the IU women's basketball game downtown. I go, okay, so we're just going to go. And yeah, they totally caught me off guard, and made it really special. They have an award that it's called the top team player. That's an award that you give your own player that you feel that they should have had some type of all-state recognition. And for my team, for me at Marion this year was Alec Hummel. So as soon as I sit down, I get this picture. Hey, say, what are you doing in this? And I go, what? And I open it up. There's my name above and beyond. And I go, where are you? So I'm in the back. I said, he goes, are you here? I go, yeah, I'm up front. And we stood up and smiled at each other. So yeah, I was totally caught off guard. And yeah, it was a really good honor, a very appreciative honor from my peers.
Well deserving as well.
Yeah, it's no small.
Yeah,
it's no small thing. That was a big deal. Did it make you feel like all those 40+ years rolled into one?
Yeah, without question. And gosh, to be a coach nowadays, it's so much more than coaching soccer or be basketball or football. Coaches have a lot more responsibilities than they did, we'll say back with Marion, and they had their heyday with Purple Rain. I know, Bill Green did a great, I'm not taking away from them, but, you have to be that babysitter.
Yep.
You have to, and I'm the type of person, I was raised that, well, you can't go home till your last player goes home, you know?
Yep.
Or your last player gets picked up from the game, away game, come in. So I just sat there. So, and a lot of people don't understand that, but my soccer teams have been my extended family, and all the boys that played for me were like all my stepkids. So yeah, I took it to heart, and would I do it all again without question?
For sure.
That's amazing.
And I'm the same way too. I don't leave till that last kid's picked up.
Right. Yeah.
There are times I'm frustrated because it's 30 or 45 minutes after practice is over, but
and it's just like I said, society today. I'd have all the kids. We're coming back from Fort Wayne. I said, all right, guys, bus driver, how many minutes? We're 15 minutes out. And
all your parents.
I'll be damned. There's still that one or two kids. I sit there and wait 30 minutes after the game. Hey, I want to get home, guys. Then here they come, and thanks, coach. I say, hey, no problem, man. Let me get out of here. So.
Now, I do want to ask any of your former players, are they coaching now?
Oh wow, yeah. Well, my sister coaches, and then this past season, I had the opportunity to have all my staff were my former players. And, here's the deal, and this is where a lot of coaches, I think, lose sight because, I'm no spring chicken. So I had to get my guys who knew my way of thinking, how I looked at the game, and how I want the game to be taught, bring them in as mentors to these kids to try to bridge the gap. Because I would first and foremost, hey, if you don't understand what I'm asking, go talk to Caleb or go talk to Alex Allison, who was my assistant coach, or then I had Devontae Boyd, who's a volunteer coach, and James Bell, who's also a volunteer. They all played for me. So, they always tease me, hey, boy, as you get older, you're getting, you're not as tough. You're not making them run as much anymore. You wouldn't put up with that with us, but, and I point out to them, I said, hey, it's all about society. Things change, guys. And if there's things I could say to you, I'm not self-incriminating myself, nothing bad, but you just can't say things because you don't know where these kids are coming from.
You're right. You really got to watch your mouth anymore.
George, thank you so much for sharing your time, your precious time with us, Coach. Before we let you go, we got a rapid fire segment brought to you by Nicholson Realty 2.0.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Favorite formation to run?
4-4-2.
4-4-2. Toughest opponent you've ever game planned for?
Canterbury.
Best player you've ever coached?
Male or female?
Either one.
Give us both.
Okay, I'd say here at Marion, I would say female, Helen Williams, who right now is playing in the Soviet Union.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah,
Man.
she's professional. You know, she has achieved more so than a lot of any player that's ever played in this area. But, you know, she went to Marion, went to New Hampshire after she graduated from there. And plus, she was an academic All-American.
Right.
So she was,
Yep.
she had her P's and Q's. And so she played in Israel, I believe, for a year. And then she's been in Russia, of all places, for the last 3 years.
That's awesome.
So, and then on the boys' side, gosh, there's been so many. I would say one of the best players, because I can't just.
Yeah.
It's been Jacoby Smith. He was just a phenomenal athlete who took the soccer ball and ran with it, and he could just literally score goals. I think he ended his career with like 66
Wow.
goals, I think, per se. And they were, you know, no, we're not talking against, he would score against anybody. So I would say overall he was pretty talented.
One rule change you'd make to high school soccer?
Since we're rural, more or less, it's as far as the players from the same team, like basketball, you can only have 5 players from the same team. I think that's how. But I would increase that. We have 7 now, but even more so, like for Grant County, you got to have more kids to be allowed, because I just feel that if you want to see the game continue to grow across the board, then that should be expanded per se.
Yeah. Most underrated part of being a high school coach?
I would have to say it would go with just having the ability or the respect from your peers. You know, some of them still look down. I'm not one to boast of all my accolades or all the wins or whatever you want to call it. I just, you know, I love to coach soccer like you'd like to coach basketball. You know, how you see the game and I see the game. We see the game, but we just go about it in different ways.
Right.
So, you know, I'm going to give you all the respect of what you've won, you know, and I don't even need the respect. Just recognize the fact that, hey, the soccer team's not too bad, you know, and let's just go on from there.
Yep.
Well, we thank you so much. We appreciate all you've done, Coach. And we'll see you again, right?
Hey, you know what? I was getting ready to say, I mean, I'm really enjoying this. I owe you a little soccer ball, so
Yeah.
maybe next
Yeah,
time I
we'll-
can bring you a gift and I can
Yeah.
set that joker right up here
Yeah, we
with
can-
all
we
the
like
sports,
that.
and
We can do that.
we can go from there. But
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you know, let's throw out his family real quick. He didn't talk about his
Yeah.
family.
no,
You said, you know, your wife, you know, she's in the dental field.
yeah.
What about your daughter Jordan?
Well, she told me she owes you guys an apology. You guys reached out to her, but she's had a busy week with Barstool.
Yep.
She's the talent booker for Barstool Sports, and so she's been really, really busy with that. Like today, you know, she can't. Pat Beverly, I don't know
Yeah.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
his little incident he had last weekend. So we were discussing that. I won't say anything more than that. But,
Yeah.
So she's, you know, her plate's been full trying to put out fires and.
And
she-
Isaac.
Well, yeah, you know, I gotta
Isaac's-
save the baby for last. You know.
A business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He. You know what? Let's see. They both tried to play soccer. I'll just put them on blast.
He said tried.
Yeah.
I like
Jordan, we played out at Jones middle school back in the day, and I'm looking for Jordan, and Jordan was down in the corner of the field picking dandelions. So, yeah. And then Isaac started out. He was really gung ho. Dad was coaching. He wanted to play, and he scored a goal. We were playing at Lakeview in biddy soccer. Unfortunately, he scored for the other team. And I think his dislike was, he would turn to me, Dad, and I'm going, yeah, you scored it. And the other kid goes, for that wrong team like that. And, that exit stage left. And what I admire about my kids, they do what they wanted to do.
Yep.
And they've both been successful at the careers they've chosen. Isaac's very talented as
Yep.
well as Jordan, but you said he's a business owner. He does a lot of choreography outside for other schools, other professional teams, and he's taken dance, and he approaches dance the way I approach soccer.
Right. Yep.
So I'm very proud of both of them, of what they've done and what they have accomplished. Kelly and I are. However, we're
That's
taking care of however, Isaac, he's not feeling well right now. We're taking care of his little dog named Memphis, a dachshund, and I call him Diablo. So, so that tells you what he's done to our house.
Diablo.
Yeah, and but Isaac's got a pretty awesome studio here in Gas City now.
You know what? He has created a true dance studio. Not saying taking anything from what they had in the past, but he's exposing these kids to how it should be, and just hopefully a lot more brighter things will come for him in the future.
You know what they say.
I think they will.
You want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's doing that.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you.
We
guys.
appreciate it,
Okay.
Coach. Congratulations on everything.
Yes.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.